get too tired to make it. Be my breath so I can walk if I need some of your love again. Give me more than I can stand. When my smile gets old and faded, wait around, I'll smile again. Shouldn't be so complicated. Just hold me and then, well, just hold me again. Can you help me? I'm bent, I'm so scared that I'll never get put back together. Keep raking me in, and this is how we will live, with you and me. Yes. If I couldn't sleep, could you see? Could you paint me better off? Could you sympathize with my needs? I know you think I need a lot. I started out clean, but I'm jaded. Just falling, or just breaking the skin. Can you help me? I'm bent, I'm so scared that I'll never get put back together. Keep raking me in, and this is how we will live, with you and me. Start bending me, it's never enough till I feel all your pieces. Stop bending me, keep bending me until I'm completely broken Shouldn't be so complicated. Just touch me and then, well, just touch me again. Can you help me? I'm bent, I'm so scared that I'll never get put back together. Keep raking me in, and this is how we will live, with you and me. Living without understanding, hell, I'll go there again. Can you help me? I'm bent, I'm so scared that I'll never get put back together. Yeah, you're breaking me in, and this is how we will live, with you and me.
All right, welcome. It is Friday, and we're going to talk some shit today. Not that that makes it different from any other day, but let's try maybe for about, I don't know, 45 minutes. Try to get through all these stories. We have this about Bernie. We have Vox Media throwing a fit over Steven Crowder because they couldn't grow a dick to save their lives. I'll be talking a little bit about that. We also have Vox. Vox is apparently not promoting, Vox and CNN. They're not promoting fair employment standards for their workers, right? I mean, aren't we for workers' rights guys, right? If anybody says yes in the chat, automatic helicopter. Anyway, so it says here that you also have Schiff is trying to figure out what these orders for declassification entail, as if an order to reveal information could be any less more transparent. We're going to talk a little bit about, William Barr's interview today. I have a fair amount to say about that. I don't know if we're going to get to all the topics today, so just be aware. Elizabeth Warren went on the Breakfast Club. That could be the topic for a longer conversation later, probably in a video, the same way that I did with Bernie's appearance on it. And then you have this resolution that's going through the California Democratic Party concerning apparently linking the Israeli government to the Pittsburgh synagogue massacre. And yeah, I have some choice words about that. And also, Bernie Sanders apparently campaigned for a Marxist party in the 1980s. So before we keep going, I want to remind you guys, if you want to be able to follow this channel and follow all my other stuff more easily, you should subscribe to me on Minds at Chef Leopard. If you're not, you know, get fucked. Because what else am I supposed to do? Let's see here. So if there is any time, I might take one or two, what do you call it? Skype calls if you want them. I'll put the number in the chat in case you guys want to do that. Let me just pull that up. Also on BitChute, I want you guys to follow me on BitChute. So before we keep going, you know, I did put out a video earlier this week about really long-term planning for this channel. And yeah, it could be that in the near future, I'm just not going to be producing videos, or I'll produce fewer videos and I'll limit the content because there's just not much point in putting out as many videos every week as I do when there's no way for me to promote them like I used to on Reddit, because Reddit is, you know, you get banned for literally nothing. And there's like certainly more of a current of throttling on my channel when you see the way that CNN is dealing with it. So no, I don't think that this channel long term is really going to be doing very well, just because I see the way YouTube is going. It could be, you know, holding out some possibilities. Yeah, I could end up doing some more stuff on BitChute instead, as in I'm not even going to be using YouTube that much. I'll just do a lot more work on BitChute, and you know, maybe I'll just go back to blogging. You know, there's other ways that I know how to, you know, reach people, but it's not going to be the same, obviously. So, you know, just keep that in mind. So I just put the Skype number in the chat in case anyone wants to, you know, call in and comment on one of the stories or something. So we have Carlos Maza is this dude who he goes by Gay Wonk on Twitter. So he's apparently gotten really bent out of shape, to be put lightly, about Steven Crowder making fun of his stupid video about Fox News. So, you know, to be honest with you, if you can't handle now, here's the thing, okay? There is virtually nothing that Carlos Maza, in terms of actual credentials, career credentials, he has no legitimate advantage over Steven Crowder. They're both people on YouTube. They both have a website that deals with news. There's literally no standing that one has over the other. And for him to go to YouTube and say to them, look, I mean, he's being very mean to me. And in his case, he's making fun of his sexual orientation, which is I guess, if you watch any of Carlos Maza's material, he has to shoehorn the fact that he's gay into literally everything. So why are we going to obsess over, you know, what people mention about you when it's literally the thing that you talk about all the time, right? So that's really what's so funny, is that all of his tweets today, all of them are about Steven Crowder. All of them. It's all about Steven Crowder. Look at this. It says, you know, and not just today. I mean, this is going into yesterday. So this is a person, I want you guys to understand. I get it that some people deal with harassment, and I get it that people have issues of taking criticism and things like that. You are a journalist on the internet, and you know the way the internet behaves, and you know that eventually censorship will fail on the internet. It doesn't mean that what he's doing is not going to create a fairer and more civil internet. It's going to ruin the experience of some people on a certain platform, namely YouTube, and there's going to be people who lose money, which is Steven Crowder. Obviously, he doesn't care about that. And all in the name of making the internet more civil, which is not what this does. Those people are simply going to walk over to a different platform if they can. There's certainly issues where some of these organizations try to delegitimize the rest of the platform. But what the hell is the point of going after a YouTuber who is several orders of magnitude bigger than you, and then you want to complain about harassment and the media needs to come and help you, and he was crying yesterday. He even got Jake Tapper to talk about it. Over here it says, so he says, since I started working at Vox, Steven Crowder has been making video after video quote debunking strike through. The strike through is his series. Every single video has included repeated overt attacks on my sexual orientation and ethnicity. Here's a sample. So what? So what, you dumbass? All Vox does every day is talk about white people. That's literally all that they do. So, I'm surprised that people are giving this any attention. Okay, what you do on YouTube is a lot of YouTubers do this. I mean, I myself am no exception to this. A lot of YouTube is YouTubers reacting to other YouTubers. So he's going to YouTube and he's complaining about one of the most common activities on what's it called on Vox. One of the most common activities on YouTube. That's what he's complaining about. So we're gonna shift to a news story after this. Let me get rid of this screen. So yeah, Carlos Massa, he's all about, I'm going to report people that want to deplatform me. That I want to deplatform. I want to report people who are making fun of me. Look at the photos that he's putting. I mean, if you want yourself to be taken seriously and you make a website with these photos on the masthead, why should people take you seriously? And are you not trying to be ridiculed? Wearing this denim shirt and like smiling like an idiot. So, yeah, I personally, it's been a few years since I've started watching Crowder. I don't watch him like religiously, but I oftentimes will watch some of his videos where he talks about the censorship, and there's the Bill Richmond guy, the what he calls the half Asian lawyer. So yeah, I actually did join his mug club today. I'm not doing it because I am especially a fan of Steven Crowder. His show is pretty good, but it's not something I watch every day. But it is because you have to show support for people who are consistently targeted because of their, willingness to say whatever they want. Now we're going to talk about CNN. They're doing this term. This is something that I didn't know you could do with actual workers. I thought you could do this with suppliers. So when I work, I used to work at a company where we would ship stuff to, usually automated assemblies, and I would go and say, what are your terms? Will you pay us within 60 days? Net 60, net 90 for the assembly that we ship to them. And usually it was net 60, I believe, at the place where I worked at. I didn't know that there are businesses that want to do net 90, which means you don't see a cent of your pay until 90 days after you start your contract. But apparently that's what's happening. So it says, according to CNN, to Twitter user Marcus Di Paola, CNN sent a letter to freelancers this week stating that as of June 17th of this year, it would extend payment terms to net 90 or payment 90 days after notice. A second, let me just. See. So the letter also said that Turner is currently working with Citi on providing an optional program that uses a financing tool for suppliers, which would allow. So it's exactly what I thought. I didn't even read this before. CNN, which claims it's the most trusted name in news, is going to be paying freelancers the same way that some companies pay people who supply them, staples or things like that. It's ridiculous. It doesn't sound like they view them as employees. It sounds like they view them as people who, give them, stock or stuff like that. Like people who supply them with pencils and erasers. CNN claims that it is making this change to be better aligned with its corporate interests, and that what a way of talking, what a way of saying it, and that it will be implemented as contracts expire. But net 90 is not a reasonable payment term for people who must pay rent every 30 days. And in New York City, CNN's new policy challenges the Freelance Isn't Free law, which set a 30-day standard for payment and protects freelancers from accepting reduced rates in order to receive faster payment. So CNN might be violating labor law in New York City. I wonder if they'll be fined for it. I wonder. Freelancers have taken to social media to protest the announcement because, make no mistake, net 90 hurts independent workers' financial stability. Larry says you must be doing something. You've attracted an official hill. I don't know who. I mean, some people they'll get onto the stream and they think that this isn't even this show isn't even about Donald Trump. And he wants to come here and talk about him. CNN is effectively asking freelancers to finance the cash flow of a multi-billion-dollar company by waiting 1/4 of a year for payment. We cannot allow businesses who employ freelancers to lower the bar and circumvent the Freelance Isn't Free law with predatory payment practices. Have you been affected by a net? So, yeah, this union is calling out CNN. And I guess why not? There's a reason unions exist. And, I would be lying if I didn't say that I am actually a pretty big opponent of unions. But the fact of the matter is that CNN is supposedly a network that is presenting the other side of the argument and whatever. But look, when they're violating these laws, which, they exist, I guess, due to some sort of, lobbying that was done. Yeah, I think you could say CNN deserves to be punished for this. So we're just let him go. Let him go, Larry. Let him go. Let it get. We're not even talking about Trump right now, and he's, he wants us to. He wants everything. Everything is about Trump, right? I mean, Trump is basically like what's his name, Unicon from Transformers. This giant Decepticon that's going to swallow the entire world. That's what they think. Vox Media is hiring data reveals massive shift away from W4 workers post-unionization. So I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but apparently in the past couple years, the Vox website, which is the one that we were talking about previously with Carlos Massa, has been moving away from hiring full-time workers. This is according to these two articles, one by Josh Frulinger in ThinkNum and the other one in Neiman Lab. So, and Neiman Lab, from what I understand, is a pretty good media watchdog organization. I guess they're at Harvard. And apparently Vox has already responded But there was a walkout. It said today, this is from Vox's media union. Today, hundreds of us are walking out for an hour to urge Vox Media Incorporated management to agree to a fair contract. Excited to be, and then another one said, I'm excited to be walking out at 1 p.m. today in solidarity with Vox Union. My demands include raises that exceed the Fed's inflation target, severance longer than management's proposed 2 weeks, a great steering wheel that doesn't whiff out the window while I'm driving. What the hell is this about? It says here at 1 p.m. Eastern time today, I and my Vox Union colleagues will be walking out of the office in a show of solidarity. We need management to buckle down and finalize a contract that protects present and future Vox employees. So it says here, one piece of friendly advice from a former guild member: if you want to firmly distinguish a 1 hour, 1 p.m. walkout from a lunch break, maybe don't tweet out photos of the chicken satay. So they're being like trolled by people who are covering their story. Isn't that hilarious? You know, they show this graph, which is this is essentially showing the decline in the number of announced positions for people who are full-time employees. Now, Vox said, okay, actually the longer statement is over here. So I'll read out this one. It says, update, Melissa Bell, Vox Media's publisher, reached out to us with this statement. She mentions that, quote, an analysis solely based on a scraping of open roles on our website is not a sufficient measurement of full-time hires versus part-time and or contractor roles, and that the company continues to hire full-time staffers. To be clear, and as can be seen above, our story does not make any statements to suggest that Vox is not hiring full-time workers. To be absolutely clear, the observed drop in job listings that do not contain the terms contract, freelance, or part-time after November 17, 2017 is directly from Vox's own careers website. As always, we report based on publicly available information in order to spot trends. In this case, we looked at how Vox has been publicly tagging its job listings with clear part-time, contract, and freelance nomenclature and titles. That increase in language is reflected in the data. We did not alter it. It says, so 45 Lies, I guess, is trying to look. We're covering this. I mean, do you have anything specific to say about Fox News? Because nobody here watches Fox News. So why do you think we would care? I mean, we're not even. I do have one story from Fox News here, by the way. But I can find the same story elsewhere. I can find it from over here, the Jewish Telegraph Agency. I can find it from the Washington Free Beacon. It happens to be a story that's a little bit more closer to Jews, but I'm just saying that why would you think anybody here gives a shit about Fox News? I mean, I think Fox News sucks. So who cares? So yeah, Vox is hiring a lot of people who are, you know, they're part-time and whatever, and it's going to probably affect the quality of their work, not that it's at the highest level at the moment anyway. So they say, it's possible Vox didn't make the part-time nature of certain positions clear in the past. In the interest of transparency, we include Melissa's statement below. Dear Joshua, we are disappointed that you did not ask for a comment on your data analysis. Had you done so, we would have informed you that, 1, an analysis solely based on scraping of open roles on our website is not a sufficient measurement of full-time hires versus part-time and or contractor roles. 2, we continue to actively hire full-time employees, and we have not shifted to offering more part-time and contract roles. 3, we have made no changes to our hiring plan since the formation of the Vox Media Union. And 4, we hired more than 150 full-time employees in 2018 and expect to hire about the same number this year. We respectfully ask for a correction to your piece. Regards, Melissa Bell. So the issue with that is if they were hiring full-time employees, you would think that they would be announcing the positions. If they're not announcing the positions, the easiest thing to suspect is that they might be, and I'm saying might be, looking to hire through recruiters. And I highly doubt that you would need to do that for journalism right now. I get a lot of calls from recruiters because I'm an engineer, because it's not necessarily easy to find engineers with citizenship or with, what do you call it, residency, people who have green cards, whatever, sponsorship. It's very hard to find them in this current economy. So we have Stormy Daniels is here. Thank you very much. And Kilgore. Thanks for coming here. No pun intended, Stormy. So those are the two stories. There was another one. So these two I've heard about from Tim Pool. I do. Full disclosure, I hear from a lot of stories from Tim Pool. Another story that I heard from him was that Talia Lavin, who we covered her last week. So Talia Lavin's class has been canceled. She's been canceled. Oh, should we pick the one? Let's have a vote. Do you want the article from the Wrap, from the Washington Examiner, or from Fox News? I'll hear a vote from the audience, and then we can decide. Let me see here. I don't know why you keep blocking him. I don't really see what he's, Let me see here. Yeah, the fuck. Yeah, Larry, you can. I don't really care what he's saying. Most of what he's saying is basic nonsense. It's clear that he apparently, when you go onto a channel and you start talking about stuff that nobody else is talking about, is it's like, why should I care what you're saying? So you want the Wrap. Impex wants Washington Examiner. Kilgore says either one. I mean, there's no answer here. Just don't need any more irritation. I mean, I don't feel irritated. We used to have all sorts of idiots that came on when I used to do more live streams, and they'd come on and they'd talk about. One of them was like really ranting about George Papadopoulos one time. It was pretty funny. It's like nobody. Now it might be the same person. They're not going to want to talk about George Papadopoulos. He's actually talking about stuff that might be detrimental to their cause. So yeah, let's look at the Wrap. So Talia Lavin is this journalist who a couple weeks ago, she published this tweet where she was basically calling Benjamin Netanyahu an anti-Semite. So the Prime Minister of Israel. Okay, I get it that you don't have to like the person who runs Israel, and in her case, she doesn't even like the country. Okay, nobody owes you anything, but the fact is that if you're claiming that the prime minister, who was elected by a majority of the the largest number of the Jews who live in that country, and you're calling him an anti-Semite because you think that the Hebrew language was used in order to mock diaspora Jews, you might need a little more, maybe an adjustment on your coding prescription or something. So it says here, New York University has canceled an undergraduate journalism class from that former New Yorker fact-checker Talia Lavin was scheduled to teach this fall after only 2 students signed up. The decision to hire Lavin to teach the elective, reporting on the far right, had drawn criticism since she resigned her New Yorker position last June after falsely accusing an immigration and customs enforcement agent of having a Nazi tattoo. Adam Pienenberg, director of, what a name. It's disgusting. Adam Pienenberg, director of undergraduate studies at NYU's Arthur L. Carter Journalism Institute, said that low enrollment forced him to cancel the class. Canceling the class had nothing to do with Talia's writings, tweets, or anything else. We canceled it because too few students enrolled. Pienenberg added. Levin did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Why not? I mean, she doesn't have anything else to do. She's not actually working. NYU journalism electives are capped at 15 students, though the department has run courses with as few as 8 students under certain circumstances. So she only needed, this is how low the threshold is. And I've been in classes where there's there's not too many students. I think the smallest class I was ever in was maybe 12 students. Oh no. I was in a class of like 8 students. It was my automation class. You have to override my kick. Okay, I'll unhide this jackass. Let's see here, 45. Okay. Unhide user. Okay, he's back. He or she or Zer, whatever its name is. I guess I mean I could just hide them whenever we're talking about Donald Trump, as if maybe we're not even going to mention him today. Maybe we'll talk about other presidents. We'll talk about Morgan Freeman from what's that movie? Deepwater Horizon or whatever. We'll live in a pretend world where Morgan Freeman is our president. Is that a little more convenient? So Larry's gonna block someone. I mean, I think the the idea that people are gonna come on here to troll when I personally usually go troll on other channels, I think is the biggest waste of time. Freighter says, I hope things improve with the channel, but I'm just a grandma with a cell phone who won't use Twitter or Facebook. So, yeah, I think. Look, I don't know if people can help, but I can't just keep working the way that I am with the way YouTube's conditions are. But the fact is, if you listen to that video from earlier this week, the issue is that I have an actual news story that I think is of primary importance right now because of what I've discovered concerning a media outlet, which we're not going to talk about because we have a weirdo in here. But I need help getting it out there. So that's the only purpose of having the channel right now. And then there's other things I like to do. I like calling into shows that I like. I used to call Rethinking the Dollar a lot, and recording the calls. I like having interviews, but to a certain extent, how much are you going to invest how much time are you going to invest? That's what I'm saying. Not in order to get an audience that's really not that large. And I'm not one of these people who is going to pretend that, oh, I'm changing people's lives with what I do or whatever. It's just not the truth. So Mr. Wazo is here. Thanks for coming back. It says here, Pienenberg also said it was unlikely his department would invite Levin back. It would make no sense to try again, given how few students have expressed interest, he said. We have no plans to offer Talia another course simply because her main focus and the focus of her upcoming book is the far right. Levin's official NYU's faculty bio, which lauded her as an expert in far-right extremism and social justice, was removed sometime around April 20th, 2019, according to the Internet Archive's Wayback Machine. In her original course, Levin promised a fulsome exploration of the, quote, far right, saying she would show students how to track and identify online extremism. In an era where, so this was the description, in an era when hate is on the rise, this course will provide student journalists with a thorough grounding in far-right and white supremacist movements in the United States, briefly examining their history and delving into their sprawling present incarnations, reads a now-deleted course description, which also promised a careful analysis of pieces that have fallen short of the mark. I don't know what the hell that even means. Levin's 3-year career as a fact-checker at The New Yorker was derailed last June after she tweeted an accusation that Justin Gertner, a wheelchair-bound ICE agent sporting a Nazi Iron Cross over his left elbow. She later deleted the tweet and apologized after learning the tattoo represented a Maltese cross, a symbol commonly used by members of the U.S. veterans of foreign wars. Although the original misleading tweet was only up for a short time, Lavin earned a public rebuke from both ICE and her employer that led to her voluntary resignation. Let me see here. Who else is left? How are you guys arguing about Abe Lincoln? Oh, that's why. So, I mean, the other thing is we could just agree with him. I mean, guys, you want to just we'll call a rubber stamp vote. We're just going to vote right now, and you guys don't have a choice. You press 1. There's no 1 or 2. We're just going to vote that President Trump is bad, and just record your vote. And I guess our friend can retire for the evening, knowing that he's changed a number of minds. I am going to put forward my vote, and I trust that everyone will put forward theirs, and we will, commence with living the rest of our lives knowing that there's other things going on in the world besides Donald Trump. How is that? Is that a nice compromise? I mean, just to we'll agree with you for the sake of argument. I mean, what's the problem? Lavin later worked. Okay, so though the original misleading tweet was only up for a short time, Lavin earned a public rebuke from both ICE and her employer that led to her voluntary resignation. Lavin later worked as an extremism researcher at Media Matters for America, a liberal media watchdog organization, before being laid off in January. Her part-time gig at NYU soon came under fire from right-wing critics as well. Commentary magazine editor John Podhoretz suggested that journalism schools should be neutron bombed because of hires like Lavin. Yeah, that's a bit of a weird reaction in and of itself. And Fox News host Laura Ingraham called Lavin and another NYU's J School hire, Lauren Duca, little journo terrorists. In March, Lavin told the Daily Beast that the attention from right-wing media had resulted in death threats and harassment. See the pattern here? So people are doing they're doing very poorly, and then they claim, well, I'm receiving threats. In March, Lavin told the Daily Beast that the attention from right-wing media had resulted in death threats and harassment. It's very disconcerting when someone with 3 million viewers calls me a terrorist. Lavin told the website, I've gotten some death threats. I got lots of slurs. I've been called a C word 10,000 times. So yeah, that's it's poetic justice. She never deserved to be working in anything close to journalism ever again after what she did last year, and the fact that she worked with Media Matters is even worse. So yeah, we're gonna give any update concerning her will be talked about as long as this channel is in existence. Other issues that I want. So she's talking about this wave of far right stuff, and I want to pull up this story because it is related to some other stuff that I was going to cover in the time we have left. So yeah, there was a Klan rally in Dayton last week, and I want people to understand. So I'm from Ohio. Dayton is like, kind of in a different part of the state. I live in northern Ohio. So, this is from the Dayton Jewish Observer, and the KKK went and demonstrated there. But to understand how ridiculous is this assertion, her assertion is that the far right is sweeping the country. Now, from what I found out, the group of Klansmen that were there are from the Honorable Sacred Knights of Indiana. So not only is my state, the great state of Ohio, the Buckeye State, is it not very racist? In order for there to be racism, you have to have people cross over from Indiana and come over so we can have just a teensy bit of racism. Just a nice sample, I guess, 20 cc's. And apparently an Israeli flag was defaced at the rally. The Israelis who, they happen to be the state where the Jews live. And it was not the Klansmen, surprise, surprise, that defaced the flag. It was a bunch of these communist protesters. So, you can see here, somebody put, I don't know what this has to do with it. But yeah, it says here, counter protesters attempt to set an Israeli flag on fire near the Klan rally so somebody should have walked up to them and said, "Hey, you're supposed to be on the other side of the fence, because the fact is that the Klan hates Israel too. Why can't, you want to bring people together? That's something, you can unite them. You can unite these you can finally, I would not be surprised if the Klansmen were looking over the fence and they're saying, hey, there's only 9 of us. Give us a little boost or something." So yeah, that was an interesting note. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. So pretty good. Pretty good. So yeah, that's about it for that. Other things that are going on, you have Adam Schiff.
President Trump has ordered U.S.
Somebody wanted to hear about President Trump. I guess they got their wish, right? Well, this technically doesn't concern Donald Trump. It concerns the House Intelligence Committee, where committee chairman is trying to figure out from U.S. intelligence chiefs something about the directive to declassify all of this stuff concerning the FISA memo and whatever. So it says Schiff sent letters to agency heads requesting all documents, material, or information provided or made available to Barr as part of his review. The Attorney General is reviewing the intelligence collected on the Trump campaign in 2016, which Barr has described as spying, to determine whether it was adequately predicated. You guys are talking about beer. Okay, I guess that's progress. That's better than talking about Abe Lincoln, I guess. As if that's... I know why they were talking about Lincoln, because of the presidents or something. Yeah, but why would you think Lincoln was a better president than Morgan Freeman? The Attorney General is reviewing the intelligence collected on the Trump campaign in 2016, which Barr has described as, quote, spying, to determine whether it was adequately predicated. Friday's letters to the Office of Director of National Intelligence, CIA, FBI, and National Security Agency come roughly a week after Trump directed the intelligence community, IC, to comply with Barr's review. The president also gave Barr broad powers to declassify and potentially release documents related to the inquiry. Schiff and other Democrats have been highly critical of the move, accusing Trump of attempting to politicize U.S. intelligence. Find 10-cent beer night on YouTube. No, I'm not going to look at that now. Yeah, 45 lies. We totally don't believe that you're being disingenuous. But you know what? I'll throw you something here. Okay, so you don't like Donald Trump. So I am proposing that the new president will be Bill Barr. So why not? Look at him. He's basically a specimen of ultimate health over here. Why not? Screw Trump. We can just have Barr as president. What's wrong with that? You got what you want. You don't want Trump. Let's just put Barr in as president. Why not? Is that a good idea? Who's for it? Morgan Freeman was a great president. Well, I'm glad you thought so too. This approach threatens national security by subverting longstanding rules and practices that obligate you and other heads of IC agencies to safeguard sources and methods and prevent the politicization of intelligence and law enforcement, Schiff wrote in the letter to Director of National Intelligence Dan Coates. Schiff asked intelligence officials to give the committee advance notice of any effort by Barr to declassify documents related to the probe. He also requested that officials inform the House Intelligence Committee if Barr plans to declassify documents over objections from the intelligence community and to provide an assessment of the harms to national security. So he's this is the hall monitor, Adam Schiff, this piece of crap. That's what's so ridiculous, that anybody would elect this clown is just unbelievable. So we have Amy in Connecticut checking in. Thanks for coming back. And please hit the like button if you haven't already. So yeah, we have this interview with William Barr that I was listening to earlier in the day. So let's take a little bit of a listen to it.
They only care about who it helps, who
officials and the rule of law. How do you react when you see those? Are you on Twitter? Do you read his tweets?
No, I'm not on Twitter. And every once in a while a tweet is brought to my attention. But my experience with the president is we have a good professional working relationship. We talk to each other, and if he has something to say to me, I figure he'll tell me directly. I don't look to tweets I don't look at them as directives or as official communications with the department.
But when you came into this job, you had a good reputation on the right and on the left. Mm-hmm. You're now someone who is, accused of protecting the president, enabling the president, lying to Congress. Did you expect that coming in?
Well, in a way, I did expect it.
You did?
Because I realized we live in a crazy, hyper-partisan period of time, and I knew that it would only be a matter of time if I was behaving responsibly and calling them as I see them. That I'd be attacked, because nowadays people don't care about the merits or the substance. They only care about who it helps, who benefits, whether my side benefits or the other side benefits. Everything is gauged by politics. And as I say, that's antithetical to the way the department runs. And any attorney general in this period is going to end up losing a lot of political capital, and I realized that. And that's one of the reasons that I ultimately was persuaded that maybe I should take it on, because I think at my stage in life it really doesn't make any difference.
You're at the end of your career? Or?
I'm at the end of my career.
But it's a reputation that you've worked your whole life on, though.
Yeah, but everyone dies, and I'm not, I don't believe in the Homeric idea that, immortality comes by, having odes sung about you over the centuries,
So you don't regret taking the job?
So that was a line that I really liked, that she asked him, "Oh, don't you fear for your reputation?" It's like, he said something that I think is great, and he's like, "No, what reputation?" He's at the end of his career, and he's doing the job because that's what he says. It could be that he's lying. People do lie, but he says that he believes in the law, he believes in the Justice Department and all that. So yeah, this is, I don't know, maybe I'm being a tard, but I would say that this is the first time I've been, wait a second. Some of your users cannot chat and are getting community guideline messages. Maybe okay. I don't know what to do about that. Maybe I'm going to appoint another moderator, Dave McDowell. You're going to be a moderator. And I need you to do whatever you can. Eric, thanks for letting me know. I have no way of knowing that. So, that's something that I'm not really into. Guideline strikes or whatever. Not showing up here. So yeah, I don't know what to do about that. That's one of the things I hate about YouTube. I want people, even people who react negatively, I think it's fine for them to come onto this channel, And again, I'll put my, let me see if I can put this here. So this is the Skype number if you guys want to, if somebody wants to call me up, chat about any of these topics or maybe a topic that I haven't covered. The problem that I'm seeing here is that, YouTube, they think that they can manage your group of people better than you can, or they can manage your interactions with other people better than you can. And what the hell is that about? If I really didn't think that these things are worthy of being allowed to be seen on YouTube, I'd probably not stream anymore. I would just, I'd put up uploads and I would delete comments I don't like, which I probably do. I put a lot of uploads up, but of the comments that I get, I think maybe once every couple years I'll delete a comment. Wazo, why do you want a wrench, man? What's wrong with does everybody want a wrench today? What am I, Oprah? Okay, here, you get a wrench, I'll take. Sorry, Dave. I don't want more than 2 moderators because it looks stupid if there's like an entire chat full of moderators. So I'm going to take his moderator wrench off. Wow, a volunteer. What the hell is that about? Elizabeth Warren was compared to Rachel Dolezal by Charlemagne the God, who, by the way, is one of the most racist people on the radio. And this is really what I'm talking about here. We have these clowns who want to go to these shows and pretend that they're reaching out to marginalized communities, as they like to call them, when really the only people they're talking to are like some of the worst examples of racial arsonists. That's basically what Charlemagne the God is. He's basically a guy who's on the radio, and his whole show is about A, being black, and B, trying to tell hip hop artists whether they're legit or not. I wonder where. Yeah, Eric, where are you? Amy and CT is not being allowed to comment. So let me see here. I mean, the one option I have is to put her in timeout and then put her out of timeout, or I could hide her and then unhide her, but I don't know if that's going to work. So Amy tried several times, it doesn't go through. Let me see if maybe I'm on the wrong screen. Let me go here. Okay, so Amy, I can see you on my control room screen. Or no, those are your older comments. There are some comments that didn't show up. I mean, I don't know. Do any of you guys want to do a phone call before we close up for the day? Stormy says, I never even heard of that stupid-ass radio show until recently. Yeah, his show has been on for a while, and I used to have a roommate that was a huge fan of his because, he's a hip-hop... I got out of hip-hop, like, probably in 10th grade. That was, like, that was a low point for hip-hop because it was just ridiculously stupid. Like, all the songs just were sounding the same, so I have not been really into hip-hop except for some... exceptional artists since then. But Charlemagne is apparently the most well listened to hip hop DJ in the country, and the rest of his show. He has DJ Envy and Angela Yee. So they apparently, if you want to talk to the black people, you talk to them, I guess. For whatever reason, black people, the thoughts and beliefs of Black America flow through a stupid hip-hop show that's on TV. 1 second, let me just text somebody. I mean, that's on the radio, sorry. Wazo says he will call next time. What if there is no next time? Oh, this could be your last chance to call me an asshole. So anyway, there's this story here that Bernie Sanders campaigned for a Marxist party in 1980 and 1984. Sanders has always played down the extent of his involvement with the party, which included radicals who praised the Soviet Union and Cuban communists, and has denied ever being a member. Asked in 1988 about his role as an SWP elector in 1980, he said, "I was asked to put my name on the ballot, and I did. That's true. In fact, his ties to the party are deep and enduring." The 2020 Democratic presidential primary candidate and United States Senator from Vermont, now 77, often scoffs at comparisons between his brand of self-described democratic socialism and communism. In recent years, he has said he is merely interested in having the United States look more like Sweden, a social democracy with a broad welfare state but a well-functioning private sector. But his personal files from his time as mayor of Burlington from 1981 to 1989, archived at the University of Vermont, show that he supported and maintained and campaigned for the communist SWP and maintained a close relationship with its senior members, while Democrats campaigned for President Jimmy Carter in 1980 and Walter Mondale in 1984. Sanders spent the Reagan era supporting fringe Marxists with no chance of reaching the White House. Yeah, he supported a hopeless cause, basically. In 1980, Sanders broadly endorsed and supported Andrew Pulley, the party's presidential candidate, who once said American soldiers should take up their guns and shoot their off. Oh my God! So he was in favor of fragging. That was what was happening in Vietnam. Some of these soldiers who were, disgruntled with the way their units were, they were, I guess, fragging their officers. So yeah, it looks like they are cracking down. What the hell? I think they're kicking people off of my. They're kicking people off of the show too. I mean, let me see here. I'm gonna refresh this screen. The viewership just went down. It's like they want to manage this channel because they think people aren't mature enough to talk to each other. Hard Bastard is starring. Are you going over there, Bold? No, I am going to. I can't watch today. I'll probably watch his show tomorrow, but tell him that he has my regards, but also tell him that I need him to reply to some emails that I sent him. If you do send, I don't know if you're going to send in any super chats or whatever, but if you do, mention me. Let me see here. 4 years later, he backed and campaigned for the SWP presidential nominee Mel Mason, a former Black Panther, saying it was important for there to be fundamental alternatives to capitalist ideology. During the campaign, Mason praised the Russian and Chinese revolutions and said the greatest example of a socialist government is Cuba, and that Nicaragua is right behind, but it's still developing. So, yeah, we're probably going to analyze some of those in the coming week, but we're not, obviously today I do have to go, and, some of you guys seem like you want to go see the Hard Bastard, which is fine. I know that he starts around this time today, so please, before you leave, press the like button if you haven't already. Also, please subscribe to this channel, subscribe to me on BitChute at Chef Leopard. Subscribe to me especially on Minds.com. Minds.com, yes. Subscribe to me on Minds.com at Chef Leopard, and also on Gab at Starscream85. And I need you to also share this playlist. If you go to my channel and you look at the videos and playlists, I have a playlist with all of the Rachel Maddow, John Mattis stuff. It's all there, most of it, I guess. And yeah, if you guys are going over to HB, tell them that I need an answer on a couple emails. But other than that, have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you later. And we'll probably be in touch sometime later this weekend.